everything's hard. I don't have the energy. Oh, I'm lazy. New tutorial time. I want to do something in oils because I neglect them. I really do. They're actually my favorite medium ever, but I often do tutorials for beginners, and beginners tend to work in acrylics. So today I'm gonna work in oils and maybe do something that's a little more complicated. So we're gonna do a cloud today, see how it goes, because God, I do not feel like painting today, but here I am making myself do it. Pushing through that lack of motivation, it can be really helpful. If you can push through that, you're gonna feel so productive and creative. It's good, but it feels like shit going through the first part of it. So let's get into the tutorial. Dream a little dream of me. Alright, so we're gonna talk about the materials that we're gonna use. I have this really cute little, what the hell do you call this? It's small, it's got thick sides. I'm gonna paint on the sides and everything. It's really cute. You can paint on a panel, you can paint on watercolor paper as long as you've gessoed it. You can paint on the back of a cereal box as long as you gesso it. We have this, which is pre-primed for me, which is nice. I have a little paper towel here for wiping off my paints. I have a palette knife. I have a palette scraper so I can clean things up really easy. This is liquid. It's a medium. I'm gonna put a little bit on my palette so I can use it if I feel like it helps improve the flow of your paints, and it also speeds dry time. But you don't have to use that, it's not necessary. I've got a bunch of brushes here. I'm gonna talk about them as I go along. You don't really need the exact same brushes I'm using, just do what feels best for you. I really like these flat ones with the angle head. I have a couple rounded ones for details, but most of the time I'm using these flat guys there. A lot of people use mineral spirits to help clean their brushes between colors. I've gotten away from using that. Right now, all I use is soap. The Masters Brush Cleaner soap. You can use normal soap if you'd like, and some water, and then I just wipe it off. That's how I do it because I like to avoid those heavy chemicals, but you can totally use your mineral spirits, your paint thinner, whatever you use to clean your brushes is totally fine. The last thing we're gonna need, which is gonna seem crazy, but I'm gonna use a little bit of acrylic paint as a base layer for this guy, because what I wanna do is, this cloud painting is gonna have kind of a dark sky, so I wanna have a little something to work on top of for that dark sky, because if I'm painting a dark sky with these oil pigments, a lot of this white is gonna show through, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm just gonna put a base layer, and you know what it's gonna be? It's just gonna be magenta mixed with ultramarine blue. It does not have to be any special color. I'm just literally mixing two colors together, just like that. So I just have something. This is not gonna be our end color that we want. I'm gonna take one of my flat brushes that I like, and I'm gonna kind of draw out where I want this cloud and the sky to be. My plan is to have a cloud that goes this way, cloud that goes this way behind it, and then this part's sky. Kind of, wow, that's a pretty purple actually. Very lightly here. I'm very, very lightly just sketching where I want this part of the cloud to be. And then I'm gonna cover the rest of this up. There we go. So all this part here is gonna be our dark sky. So also, we are gonna be painting on the sides and the top. You might not be, you might have something flat, but I'm gonna be. So I'm gonna have to decide where I want this cloud to go this way too. While we're letting that dry, we're gonna mix up some of our colors. Colors we're gonna be using, totally forgot to mention. Here we go. Titanium white, ultramarine blue. What color is that? Cerulean blue. These are the three colors we're gonna be using the most. We're gonna be adding tiny, tiny little bits of Indian yellow, and this is Windsor Red Deep. But let's start a sky color, which is gonna be predominantly this ultramarine and white, and to like get some of those more brighter blues, I like to add a little bit of that. I'm gonna add a little bit of red, and I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to this. Two tones, so I'm gonna take that, set it a little bit aside, then go for a darker color. Red and yellow make the color orange, obviously, if you remember from kindergarten. Combining them with blue mutes the color blue down, so it's not quite so vibrant. You can learn more about that in my How to Mix Colors tutorial video. These are both gonna be our sky colors, and this is probably gonna be added into our cloud also. But now we're gonna go for darkest cloud color, which is gonna take a little bit of that. White, yellow, and red, of course. I need to have something in the middle. I hope you can see that one. That one might be a little bit out. off screen. And then we're gonna use pure white. So let's start with these colors. So let's grab like a medium-sized flat brush here, and we're gonna go in and take this darkest blue we mixed up, and we're gonna start that on. I'm gonna add a tiny little bit of my liquid so that it starts to become a little more fluid. You do not have to do that if you're not used to working with medium. That's how I'm doing it today. And then I wanna slowly mix in some of this lighter sky color, so we can create a little bit of a gradient. Now, because I'm using a canvas, I'm pushing the bristles in a little bit, using a kind of firm grip to like push the paint into these like divoted areas of the canvas. If you're working on something that's very flat, you don't have to do this like pushing motion that I'm doing. Liners were going down, creating a little gradient there. And now I'm going with this pure color. And I'm pulling my brush up a little bit, trying to blend this gradient a little more smoothly. Sky's done there, except I like to add a little moon. I'm taking a very, very, very thin little brush, super small detail brush. I'm gonna add a little moon here. I'm gonna do a little crescent moon. I just think that's the cutest darn thing, and I can't stop. Can't stop painting moons. I'm taking a mechanical pencil, kind of sharpening this mechanical pencil to a little bit of a point, just getting it down so it's looking pretty sharp. And then I'm taking my pure white paint and I'm dotting on a couple little stars. Now we're gonna go in and start adding the shadowed parts to our cloud. So we're gonna get a smaller brush than this. I like this guy. So it's a flat angled brush. I'm obsessed with this brush. Okay, we're gonna take our shadow. That's this color right here. Now, a lot of times when I paint clouds, the topmost parts of the cloud is the part that's highlighted, but that is not always the case. And this time, I'm gonna have a puff that's going right here be the highlighted part of this cloud, and this part that's behind it be a little bit shadowed. I want to start doing this cloud first. So I've added this like defining line between the two. And this cloud's going to be a little bit lighter overall than this cloud. By taking this like mid shadow we have here, start kind of defining where some of its little puffy areas are. I'm creating a few little puffs just randomly, giving it a little bit of texture. And now I'm gonna add a ton of white over here and just mix it with just like a little bit of this gray here. A very small amount. It's still gonna be mostly white, but I'm just adding a touch of that in there. Kind of taking this color on the bottom of the places we defined and mixing it in a little bit as we work it through. And then I'm gonna clean this brush off really quickly because I want to go in with some pure white. So I'm gonna take this brush, get it a little bit wet, and I'm gonna brush it around in my soap here. Wipe it off, get it wet again, wipe it off again, get it nice and dry so I can go in with my pure white without too much color contamination. Going in with just white now. Taking this to everywhere we haven't covered yet. There we go. It's looking pretty cute. All right. And now I want to do one of my favorite things. I'm going to brush it out. So I've got a really soft brush here. This is a Princeton Select Oval Mop. You don't have to use this necessarily. You can use a big soft brush like this or a big soft brush like this. And what we're going to do is take it perfectly dry and we're going to carefully blend it out. I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush here, like this guy. No, changed my mind. Actually, I want the real little one, like this. I'm gonna go back in with my white and just add some more details after I blend it. There we go. And I'm gonna do another quick brush out. Very soft, very gentle. I'm kinda happy with that looks right now. So I'm gonna go in with this part. This part's gonna be a little bit darker. So we're gonna go in the same brush we used for this guy most of the time. I'm gonna go in with our second darkest color because this part here was our darkest color. And that mid color we used for a lot of this piece. This is gonna be where this definition starts coming out. Start defining some of these puffy areas. And I'm gonna go in with my lightest gray and mix my lightest gray with more white, like this. And then pure white again. I'm not gonna even bother trying to clean this brush because I'm so lazy today. Just so lazy. This part is where I'm really defining the puffs on this cloud. Okay, I'm gonna brush this guy out a little bit with the same brush. It's got a little bit of extra paint on it, but not enough to cause us any problems. And in small circles, I'm starting to brush out, smooth the edges between the different colors. Now that I see that all smoothed out, there's a couple areas that I definitely, what the hell is that? Get off. You pick one thing up and mysteriously a bunch of little crumbs of paint go flying everywhere. I'm taking another detail brush. It's a round brush, so I'm going in with this dark color. Darker areas, creating a little more contrast. I'm deciding that this painting looks like how a lullaby sounds. This looks like it'd be on like the cover of a baby's goodnight book, like one you read your like 2-year-old to sleep with. And now I want to go back in with white, so going back to this guy, I'm gonna clean it off one more time. Taking my soft brush again, and so gently, because I don't want to lose these details I created. Very, very gently wiping this out in small little circles. And there we go. There's our little nighttime cloud painting. Jaja, Jaja, the thought of you. Here's our painting. I finished up the sides here, so it looks really cool. Production haven't got a painting done, so that's good. I still feel lazy and stinky, and that's okay too. If you want the full-length version of this, it's on my Patreon for people who decide to support me. I know not a lot of people happen to have a couple extra dollars right now, but if you do, and you really like what I do and you want to support me and give me more time to paint and create things and make more videos, you can donate to my Patreon where you could get some cool benefits like full-length tutorial videos of this guy and a bunch more that I have up there. If you try this tutorial, you can post it on Instagram and tag me at EmilyMackeyArt. I would love to see it. I've seen a bunch of your paintings from a couple of my last tutorials and they look so good. I'm so good. I feel like such a proud little mama bear. I'm just like so proud. Good job. Good job, you did good. Pat on the head. I really love your paintings. So paint more and show me, I'd love to see them. And I will see you in the next video.